Good morning to everybody. It is my favorite time of the week. Texas versus OU Red River. Texas versus everybody. And we are about to get into the numbers, the stats. Where does Oklahoma stack up? Do they even have a shot? The numbers say they probably do not, but this is Thursday, and Thursday is Texas versus everybody day. So please hit like to the video today. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. It is time for us to get into everything related to this Red River rivalry. I'm so excited. Can't wait to drive up to Dallas on Friday and get there. And we got to make sure everybody gets there, your little Fletcher's dogs and all these other kind of things that you guys like to eat. I'm about to break down the numbers, though, and really show you where Texas stacks up against Oklahoma. I want to retweet this thing out real quick. And by the way, I hope everybody who's in Florida is being safe and okay. My mom's is down there, and I had to go through the eye of the storm yesterday, but she's okay. Hoping everybody else is safe down there in Florida as well. Did y'all see the pictures of the Tropicana Field? If there ever was a reason for them to finally move out of there, out of St. Pete, that would be it. But anyway, I hope everybody is doing well. All right, now that that's retweeted, let's get into it. Are you ready? For all the haters out there who say I take too long to get into the subject, I sure hope 2 minutes to get into it wasn't long. I feel like if you're never mind, I ain't gonna say it. Let's get into the numbers. Let's get into the numbers. Texas versus Oklahoma. Oh, by the way, it probably would help if I had the microphone a little bit closer. Here we go. Probably would help if I had the mic just a little bit closer. That's probably better, y'all. Texas versus OU. I'm sorry, I had to drop my kid off for school and everything. So Texas versus OU. Let's see where everything stacks up. Listen, if you can see this on your screen you probably can see this really good on your laptop. Probably would see this really good on your TV. Probably not as great on your phone. So if you're in the car driving, please, I'm telling you, do not attempt to look at this. I will narrate this one for you as well. Let me just turn off this chat because everybody's hitting me on this damn chat here. All right, so let's check out where these categories are. Total offense. This is offense ranked totally. OU versus Texas. Oklahoma's offense is ranked 121st in the country. I don't have it in front of me, but I believe there's like 133 teams. One of the worst offenses in the country. And Texas is ranked 7th. So that literally is bringing a BB to a gunfight. Just BB to a gunfight. Now, when you break it down individually, the rushing offense, Oklahoma's rushing offense is ranked 100th in the country. Fascinating. Do y'all remember when they were they had like all these NFL running backs that it seemed like they were ripping off one after another. And right now, they're ranked 100th in the country. Texas is ranked 37th. From a passing offense standpoint, they're ranked 118th. This is what is this? This is not your father's Oklahoma. This is not your father's Oklahoma or your mama's Oklahoma or your grandmama, mammy, Mima. This ain't that kind of Oklahoma. Because now you look at Texas and they're 10th ranked in passing offense, so we're talking about from an offensive standpoint. On paper, Oklahoma doesn't have enough offense to stand up. We'll do scoring offense, 7th in the country versus 69th scoring defense. And I'm going to break this down also in the SEC portion of this thing as well. We're talking about 3 versus 42. Rushing defense. Now, this is the interesting part. This might be the one area, the one thing that Oklahoma actually does okay, that does well from a rushing defense, stopping the run. They're actually pretty good. One of the better teams in the country against the run, 27th in the country. Texas is 29th. So fairly even until you get to passing yards allowed. And then we get to passing yards allowed, you've got Oklahoma sitting there at 75th, and then you've got Texas with one of the best pass defenses in the country, which is just crazy because just to think of how bad the pass defense was last year into how good they are. All the things, Coach Reynolds and Gideon, when I said you guys were in a hot seat beforehand and y'all have to bring it this season, fellas, y'all have brought it. This defense is better. Coach Reynolds, I said, look, your name is the pass game coordinator, and ultimately you have to do better in that area. Hell, I know he didn't do it for me, but I can tell you, if he ever wanted to do a Shaq versus Kobe, tell me how my blank tastes, he can definitely do that. And nothing I can say about him. Props to those guys for turning around that pass defense. It's elite right now. We could look at the scoring defense as well. Turnover margin. Oklahoma is pretty good at that, tied for 3. Texas is tied for 46. The third down conversions, not huge, dramatic difference. I probably need to see how many times Oklahoma's actually had to attempt a third down. But 9 versus 17, not the most dramatic difference in that category. The third down conversion percentage, again, not dramatically different, because some of these are dramatic, right? Some of the, when I went into total offense, that was dramatic. Rushing offense was dramatic. Passing offense was dramatic. Like the fact that OU is even in the ballpark is like, oh, okay, well, you're somewhere. You're somewhere in there. So third down conversion percentage, 9 versus 17. Fourth down conversion, tied for 16. I mean, there's not a lot of categories as we look at it. There ain't really a lot of categories that Texas OU has the edge in. There really is not. The red zone offense, that's one category, I guess. 20 versus 29, but we'll break that down in a little bit when I get into the conference stuff. We're not punting. Golly, we need to get into that as well. The first down offense. I don't know what they're calling on first down. It ain't really good. They're 122nd in the country. I don't know what they're calling on first down, but they might as well just go to second down. Honestly, considering the third down conversion percentage, whatever their third down play probably needs to be their first down play. Just go to an alternate universe. Penalty yards, Texas is tied for 72. So Texas is probably could definitely clean up the penalties. OU is tied for 64. And then the time of possession at the very end. OU don't really like to have the ball for too long. Oh, you don't like to have the ball for too long. 112 in the country. But when your offense is bad, that's what happens. Versus 70th in the country as well. So there is that. So there are those stat things. I want to make sure we're going to hop around a little bit. Just stay with me. Stay with me on this fantastic voyage. They came out with. I'm going to get back to the stats and the numbers in a second. And by the way, good morning to all of y'all who is in here. Chris Bennett, I see you. Tex Guy, my main man T Williams is in here. Voodoo is in here. My main man Kiki. Hey, Kiki, y'all hooping? You started back up? You guys are hooping? Let me know. Uncle Mickey's in here. Soto 806. Christopher's in here. Kevin is in here as well. Kevin Rayford is in here. Good morning, Orange Bloods family. Good to see you. In here. So they came out with the injury report yesterday. And so a couple of things. We obviously know about Baxter Clark, Gardner. Colin Page moves up to questionable. Didn't play last week. The new one on the list. It is good to see Derek Williams as probable, Quinn Ewers as probable. Obviously, I think I've reported that he's back to he's at 100%, so he's going to play. Obviously, there's never a question of whether he's going to play, but his percentage is all what you wanted to know. The one that just kind of came out of nowhere was Michael Kern. That one, when I got to see that last night, that was like, oh. Well, that hit me new. That one was new. So we'll find Steve Sarkisian will address the media at 11 o'clock today. Hopefully we can get a little bit more on what Michael Kern is and who the backup is. I think it's, Bert Auburn can probably kick. I don't know that maybe they've given some walk-ons, some shots there, but that's the one to keep an eye out on. What was crazy, though? What was crazy from this thing. And by the way, good morning to you. Spencer Rojas is in here. Super T72 is in here. T-E-J. Te? Or is it te? I said te. It's te? I got it. Your favorite Drontillo. That's like that. That was pretty bad. Brandon's in here. Zio_V is in here. Tyler's in here. Fragrance for Group Reviewers in here. Buck Wild, our favorite trucker, is in here. Paul and Kiki said y'all just started the fall tournaments. That's good to see. When you looked at the injury report, and good morning, Sandman. I was like, where's Catherine? I'm looking for Sandman. Where's Catherine? Where's South End Zone Queen? Where's Deborah? Where's some of my other folks at? Where y'all at? Look at all the receivers who are hurt. I mean, they got 4 receivers who are out. Just like they ain't playing. They ain't playing. J.G. Williams is, from the DV perspective, is out. You got Deion Burks that's questionable. For an offense that already was somewhat inept, to have that receiver room where it's at. They're not clearly they still got some guys there. We're not going to say that they have nothing. But boy. And Binks is in here. Good to see you. From an injury standpoint, it don't look good for OU. That it just does not look good for them. So, but here's what's interesting. I wanted to throw this out here for y'all. I'm hopping here a little bit. So I gave you the stats, right? So I was curious. So what they do for us, they provide this thing. They call it game notes. And it's usually kind of a thick packet of stats and information and all kinds of things. There's a lot of things that we can go through. I don't profess to say I read all 100 pages of the game notes and what it is. Let me see. The Texas OU, I say 100. The Oklahoma game notes with 38 pages. I think Texas is 55 pages. So I have them both up on my screen. I wanted to go, I was like, well, what? So what it is each SID department provides this information. And so I was like, oh, okay. So I'm kind of curious, what is OU saying in their game notes? And I wanted to share this with you because it's just a really different perspective. Because here's the thing that I felt like when I read it that OU kind of was leaning on. And by the way, they're not wrong for leaning on it. But what they've kind of was leaning on was basically their success against Texas throughout the years. They really just leaned on, hey, at the end of the day, this is a team that we usually do pretty well against, right? So if you go to the third game note, they point out Oklahoma has won 5 of its last 6 meetings against Texas, and 11 of the last 15, 17 of the last 25. They also are quick to point out since 2000, so we're talking about 24 years, the Sooners are 4-3 in the series when Texas is ranked in the AP top 5. I guess it's a stat. It's a stat. It's a kind of stretch for a stat, though. But nonetheless, on the Oklahoma side, They're saying like, yeah. When Texas has been in the top AP top 5, we've actually done pretty well against them. So they go out in the post, hey, OU's now look, I'm not saying it's going to happen this year, but I just wanted to show you what comes from the other side. It's like some of you guys might be like conservatives, right? And so you might watch like MSNBC, and then some of you might be liberal, and so sometimes you might want to watch like Fox News. You just want to see what the other side is saying, no matter what side that you're on, right? And so I wanted to show like, hey, I want you guys to see what the other side is saying, even though you're on the Texas side. Please, no political commentary. I know we're getting close to election season. That's not where I'm going. Just wanted to use that as an analogy. And then look, they go, OU is posting an 11-8 record, regular season record against top 5 teams since the start of 2000. Again, not really the best winning percentage. Like, it's like, it's not braggable, but if you're on the other side of it and you can say you're winning, sure, no problem, right? And so, and they point out the wins that they've had against. And then you skip to Oklahoma has won its last 4 games against Texas when both teams are ranked in the AP poll. 7 of its last 8, 13 of the last 17. So again, from the OU perspective, they're letting you know, like, yeah, this has happened before, but we've had our way with Texas, and we've been okay. We are okay with Texas. Like we it's almost like they're trying to say, been there, done that, as far as this thing is concerned. I mean, so anyway, I wanted to share that with you. And I also think it's good as we get into it. Tomorrow we'll talk a little bit more about the thing that I'll give you my 5 keys. The only thing I'll say, and we're gonna get into the numbers. The numbers are gonna show that OU is not a good team. It's just not that's literally what's going to show. But I will say, and I will just continue to say, this is a rivalry game. I know it's Oklahoma. I know everything, but this game is just crazy. It's weird, and it's hard for me just to live in a world where I'm going into a game and I'm just telling myself, Texas by 3 touchdowns. Like, and I know the line was at 14.5, but let's get into some more numbers, okay? Let's get into total offense, okay? So the overall offensive ranking for these teams in the SEC. Let's just break it down where everybody is in the SEC. And this is where I say, damn, y'all, y'all in trouble, because Texas is ranked 3rd in total offense, averaging 513.6 yards a game. But if you go all the way down to the bottom, I mean, drop it low, Oklahoma's at 16. Basically, I'll give them the 300 just to make the math easier. You talking about that Texas is averaging 213 more yards per game than OU at this moment. 3rd overall, obviously, for Texas in the conference in itself. Boy, Ole Miss is averaging a lot of points, but I'm not quite sure what all that means. And then it didn't really mean much for Tennessee recently. But so now offensively, you got the number 3 offense in the conference versus the worst offense in the conference. Now you say to yourself, okay, that's cool, Anwar, but you know what? Defense wins ball games. Defense carries. You got to always pack your defense when you go on the road. Like, that's what you'll tell them. And I'm like, yep, pack your defense. Well, Texas is packing and will go to Dallas with the number 2 ranked defense in the conference, only giving up 228 points. And Oklahoma will pack a defense that's ranked 10th in this conference. So we're talking about essentially Oklahoma has the worst offense in the SEC and the 10th best, and I use that word best loosely, defense in the SEC. Whereas Texas is ranked in the top 3 in each one of those 2 categories. Again, you said, Anwar, hello, just go ahead and crown them. And I just keep saying, yeah, I want to do it, but it's like it's a rivalry game, so I'm a little nervous, right? Let's look at scoring offenses. Let's just look at the ability to score here. Ability to score, ability to put up points. Texas ranked number 2. It would stand to reason if they got one of the top offenses in the conference that they would have one of the top scoring offenses in the conference. So Texas, from an offensive standpoint, is averaging 45 points a game. That's pretty good. Well, where are we at, Oklahoma? We're at 13. That's an unlucky number, by the way. They had 20, and they're averaging 28.6 points a game. So again, like if I round it up just to make the math easy, and I took away 2 points, right? Or at least 1.4. You're still talking about a whole 15 to 16 points better at this moment from an offensive standpoint. And then if I look at the defensive standpoint, this is where it gets crazy. When you say scoring defense, what that basically means is the amount of points that your defense is giving up. For some of you guys who already knew this, that's great. Just always realize like not everybody might be as diehard as you. So sometimes I may break it down just a little bit because I just want to make sure everybody understands judgment-free zone as we go through things. So Texas is only giving up 7 points a game. That's best in the conference, one of the best in the country. And Oklahoma is giving up 16. Again, kind of like, well, finally, you're in the ballpark. Like it's like it's kind of like you have your kids. Kiki can understand this, right? Kiki, you ever have a kid you ever see them on a team and they're just not that good, but maybe they get a steal, and you're like, oh well, man, yeah. Look at this. Shaw got a steal. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Like you're excited that they actually got that steal. That's kind of where I'm at. Like I'm like, oh man, well, they got 17 versus 16. That's not too bad. That's where we are. So that's where we are from a scoring defensive standpoint. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting as well. Third down conversions. I want to go to offensively. Let's go. I put up defense and I put up the offense. So third down conversions. Texas gets there. It's time to convert on third down. They're converting 52% of their third downs, 52.4%. That's number 2 in the conference. Arkansas, interestingly enough, is at 52.8 with actually about 30 more attempts. That's kind of crazy. You would think Arkansas would have a better ranked offense if they were doing that. So it sounds like Arkansas is really good at getting. We'll get to that. It looks like they're real good at moving the ball and converting on third downs. Probably not scoring as much, but we'll get back to that in a second. But then when we look at who is dead last, it's Oklahoma. From third down conversions. So Oklahoma, once again, and this is literally why I put a lot of this on Seth Luttrell. Like that's literally why I'm like, yo, this guy's not good at his job because you can't tell me it's all the players. All the players? That's the reason why. Like, it's a hard sell for me. Now, from a defensive standpoint, Texas does a great job of getting off the field. You see they're ranked number 3 in the conference as far as getting off the field. And again, Oklahoma, they're least in the ballpark. Like at least that's one thing, like when it's close. because they're right around the same amount of attempts against their defense. 72 against Texas, 76 versus Oklahoma, and they're right around the same percentile. So they're at least there. That's about it. Like like, well, at least in third down, you got to scheme up something. That now the challenge is for Oklahoma. Clearly, Sark can scheme it up. So I'm not quite sure what they're going to do there. Now, now obviously this is where it's going to get sad again. This is where it gets sad because from a passing offense, and again, like this is where Oklahoma's only chance of winning this game is they've got to hope that Texas turns the ball over just a hellified amount of times, because they don't have an offense. They just don't have an offense that can move the ball. Passing offense, they are not good. Texas is ranked third. They're averaging 322 yards per game. Oklahoma, when it's time for prize picks, Oklahoma's averaging 169.2 passing yards. That is dead last. And y'all, again, this is dead last when we saw Mississippi State a couple of weeks ago, and we were like, ugh, that's an offense? And whatever you thought of Mississippi State's offense when you saw it, just know that Oklahoma's offense is worse. Think of the worst offense that you thought you saw this season and think, can it get any worse than that? Yeah, it literally can, because from a passing perspective, OU is coming to town. And they're bad. And then what about on passing defense? Okay, well, what's the secondary of Oklahoma doing when people are putting the ball up in the air? Well, we know what Texas is doing because they're ranked number one. We know they got one of the best pass defenses in the country. And Oklahoma, pass defense standpoint, the 12th. All right, but maybe Oklahoma can rush the ball. Maybe, oh, damn it, they last again. What? Maybe I was trying to, okay, well, maybe they can't pass the ball, but maybe they can run the ball. Oh, damn, they're in last place again. Once again, they're in last place. You got OU sitting here, dead ass last, averaging 128 yards per game. Texas at 6. I mean, so yeah, right. On paper, Oklahoma does not have an offense that can hang with a Texas offense. Rushing offense, 128. Passing offense, 169. All right, well, let's see at least from a rushing defense, Oklahoma is ranked 4th, and actually one of the only categories in the SEC that Oklahoma is better than Texas, and that's from a rush defense standpoint. So, okay, so you say so. All right, well, Oklahoma, all they got to do is stop the run. Well, I mean, you can stop the run, but your stats show that you can't stop the pass. So you might be kind of good at something, but you suck in the other area that might end up killing you. So Oklahoma's literally, they've got to hope that the passing game is just enough for Texas. They've got to hope that somehow, some way, they just cannot throw the ball, because that's the only way that Oklahoma could win this. It literally has to be an epic meltdown. Like Quinn Ewers would have to have just a horrible game to the point you're questioning, why is he in the game? Where is Arch Manning? Like, that's what it would take when you look at that for where it is, because defensive standpoint And realistically, when I go back to the total offense, and this was where really it goes back to 513 yards of offense for Texas, 297 yards for Oklahoma. They can't win. That is bringing a BB. I don't think I can say gun. I think I can say I don't think YouTube likes that word. So what it's bringing something. It's like bringing like a casserole to a barbecue. All the casserole fans like, I'm offended. Okay, how about this? It's like bringing a raisin casserole to a barbecue. I don't want to offend all the casserole because some people be smart, like, well, what's lasagna? Isn't lasagna technically a casserole? Like, okay, I know there's some smart people out there. So it'd be like bringing the raisin casserole. Do you guys like green bean casserole? I'm not a huge casserole person per se in the traditional sense. But I know we can get off topic on that. I know you guys will say Kurt Bowles loves casseroles, and that it will go crazy in the chat. But anyway, I wanted to make sure we kind of got a little bit of those things. And let me figure out how the hell to get this damn thing off my screen. All right, let me figure out. Boom, and I'm back. These one-man shows are tough. These one-man tough. Calvin's like, I'm going to go into these stats. Hey, man, I'm a stat guy. Calvin, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a stat guy. I believe the numbers, if you look into it, they tell you a lot, and they can bring out a lot in it, and it'll help with the analysis. It also helps with your expectations as well. So I Thursdays, to be honest with you, I go hard in the paint when it comes to these stats, man. But I try not to make them too crazy, but I'm definitely going hard in the paint. The other person that I want to let y'all know that always goes hard in the paint, it will go hard in the paint for you. That's a hell of a transition, by the way. Can I get a golf clap for that? Can I get an amen from someone in the back? Can someone give me a tambourine? Can I get a church fan with a funeral home on the back? Like, can I get something? If you ain't never been to a church that's got the funeral home on the back of the fan, you have not done church. Eric Sells Homes DFW. He's the man with the master plan. He has got you covered. If you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, you're in the DFW area this weekend, we're all going to descend upon that thing. And if you are telling yourself, you know what, I want to buy a house out here, hit my man up. I'm going to buy it. Maybe you want to sell it. Maybe all y'all who live in Florida, who live out there in the Tampa Bay area, if you just like, man, I am tired of these damn hurricanes. Come on over. Come to Texas. Don't do what y'all do. Y'all, you know what y'all do? You're like, oh, well, we don't need anybody else living here. Yes, we do. We need our property values to go back up. Y'all loved it when we had the bidding wars just a few years ago. We need people that want to buy houses. So our property values will come on up. And Eric Torres needs to benefit from that. Eric Sells Homes DFW. Come on over. All y'all Floridians, come with me. Get the hell out of there. I'm tired of that. I ain't going back. Trust. I saw what happened in Tampa Bay yesterday. I am not going back. Eric Sells Homes DFW. Okay. All right, here comes the part of the show. I kind of switched up the order a little bit. Here comes the part of the show that y'all are going to give me a lot of crap about. Y'all are going to give me a lot. So before y'all start giving me crap, before I open myself up to this, let me go ahead and let y'all know about the Red River watch party that's going to be taking place here in Austin, the Texas Card House Social. They got some special starting at $1.30, $1 draft beer, $2 jellyfish. I didn't know what a jellyfish was. I gotta be honest with you. I had to look it up. $2 on, and then you mentioned Orange Bloods, and you get $1 monthly membership. And the first hour of play is on the Texas Card House. So for those of y'all, now listen. I don't believe they got Spades. They don't have Spades, y'all. It's the other cards. Because I know the brothers are out there like, hey, man, my books are banging. Okay, no. Other cards. Come out there to the Texas Card House. Chad is going to be out there. Obviously, Catch is going to be out there. They'll do the post-game show from there. Y'all come out, check them out. And I got to admit, they got certain things that you got to admit, like as a black person, like you don't know how to do, right? There's certain things like you don't know how to fry foods or whatever. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how to play spades because y'all don't know how to be patient enough to teach somebody how to play spades. And I'll be honest with you. When I tried to learn, I didn't like getting yelled at. I did not like getting yelled at. And you yelling at me, why you messing me up? Why you my mama? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, listen, man, are you gonna teach me how to play this game? Now, so now I can probably watch YouTube and learn it. But yeah, y'all get too aggressive. You ever play spades with people? Spades people get way too mad, way too aggressive. They throwing things down. It's a little bit too hostile for me. So I don't do spades. And you can't take my black card away because y'all never actually showed me how to do it. So you can't take it away from me because of you're impatient. Okay. All right. This is what y'all gonna get mad at me about. Good morning to you, Jesus. De nada. ¿Y tú? Y'all gonna get mad. I'm gonna explain it to you. I'm gonna give you my power rankings. Now, and I already got crap for this on Orange Bloods. I already got crap for this on Orange Bloods. Let me explain to you. Let me explain. Now, listen. Just be okay. This is a hell of a setup. When I'm like, Onward, why don't you just go ahead and show it to me? I'm just trying to let y'all know. Dice is fine. Dice is easy. Dice is fine. That's an easier game. But they try to hustle you on the street though. But the dice is fine. It's the spades thing though. People get a little too aggressive about. I'll be honest with you. All right, let me show you what my power rankings are. I don't need you. I need a judgment-free zone. I need a judgment-free zone where I can operate. Do not be a bully. Bullies are not cool anymore. Of course, I have Texas at the number 1 spot. You say to yourself, okay, Alvar, seriously? You've got A&M at the number 2 spot? What? Why? Let me explain it to you. Now, you may not agree, but at least you can understand why I've done it, okay? A&M, at the end of the day, went out and beat the crap out of Missouri. So that's one. And you're like, okay, it's Missouri. They also, though, are 3-0 in the conference. They're the only team that's sitting at 3-0 in the conference at this moment. Now, Texas and LSU have only played one conference game so far. But I have to say to myself, okay, they did go out, they beat Florida, they did beat Arkansas, which we realize is not it's not a bad team when it's all said and done. They went out and they beat Arkansas. And then, of course, they beat the dog whatever out of I don't like the dog analogy. I kind of like dogs. They just mollywopped. That's my word. Mollywopped. I like it sometimes when I say words and I hear other people on the channel say my same words. I'm like, I like that, y'all. Like that stuff. So when that was all said and done, I didn't say like, okay, at the end of the day, for the moment, I'll go ahead. Now, this is the one that throws people off. But people are like, well, why you got Vandy at number 3? Like, come on, dog. Like, seriously, let me explain. Let me explain to you. at the end of the day, yes. Did Vandy have like a crappy? They'd have a crappy loss, on their schedule. They lost to Georgia State, sure, and they also lost to Missouri, yes. But they went out and beat Bama at the end of the day. And then when I start looking in the conference, and this is where I got stuck a little bit. So when I started looking in the conference, and I saw that Vanderbilt was sitting at 1-1, and the other in Georgia was at 2-1, and of course Alabama sitting at 1-1. The math for me was okay as I started just thinking about the conference itself, right? I was thinking about the conference, and I know I can do totality. So there's different ways of viewing it. I was like, well, Bama beat Georgia. Vandy beat Bama. Vandy higher than Bama. That's really as simplistic as it was for me. That's literally as simplistic as it was. Now, I said to someone I said it like this. I said it like this. There was a time and point when USF was the number 2 ranked team in the country. Then we really, really would think to ourselves, they are better than 130 something teams. No, but we just said for that moment, for that week, we went with it, and that's all I am with that one. I dropped Bama for the loss, and then I still have to but I'm still putting them ahead of Georgia because I'm head to head should matter to me at some point. I got Ole Miss sitting there at number 6. I've got, obviously, you see me with Arkansas at 7. Tennessee. I had to drop them after the loss against Arkansas. But, of course, again, since I'm doing head-to-head, I put Arkansas ahead of Tennessee. The hardest one for me right now is LSU. Because LSU, I feel like there's such fool's gold at this moment because they're sitting at 4-1, but y'all, their games are against the wins. All right, so they lost against USC, which none of us think is a good team at this moment. Okay, and then their wins are against Nicholls, South Carolina, UCLA, and South Alabama. That's no body of work for me. That's just that you playing, but you just playing. You know the difference? You're playing, but you just playing. So the next 4 weeks to me will be where we get to really learn about LSU. Because now we're talking about Ole Miss at Arkansas, at Texas A&M, then Bama. And at that point, I don't know if over the next 4, how many of those games LSU realistically wins. Now, look, if they run the table, shoot. Then now we know something. Now we know, okay, they're legit. But right now, that LSU hasn't done enough for me to say, okay, they're that team. So it's just weird. They have a good record. They're sitting at 4-1. They're ranked 13th in the country. But they just haven't played anybody yet for me. By the way, and Vanderbilt had a decent win against Virginia Tech too earlier, so there is that. I got Kentucky at the number 10 spot. They're sitting there hanging in there. I got OU at 11. And again, OU sits there at 11, and that's. And again, I know they're ranked 18th in the country. They beat Temple, which is not a good program. They beat Houston. They've beaten Tulane. They've lost to Tennessee. And then they barely beat Auburn. Again, they're 4-1, but the next few weeks for Oklahoma could be the truth serum because they've got Texas this upcoming weekend. They've got South Carolina, definitely beatable team. But then they've got Ole Miss. They do have Maine, which they should beat, but then they close out against Missouri, Alabama, LSU. So it's definitely going to get tougher. It's going to definitely get tighter on the Sooners. Missouri, I was always skeptical about them. They got exposed, frauds. The fraud alert was out. Then, of course, as we round out the bottom, we've got. Did y'all see my boy Steven Garcia, former South Carolina quarterback? Did y'all see him out in a hurricane yesterday? Y'all didn't. I just hold on. This happened. I've got to show you this. He's going. This is where's Steven? Okay. So someone asked Steve. So if you guys don't know, it's like Steven Garcia used to be the quarterback at South Carolina. I know Steven because I actually covered him when I was in Tampa, right? And so hold on, let me show y'all this. Steven lives in Tampa. And someone's like, oh, we need a live update, from the hurricane. And this is dude. Hold on. Hold on. Let me take this off the screen and show this thing to you because it's not showing. Let me just show you what old boy was doing out there during the hurricane. Does anyone need to see this? Never grow up, Steven. This never, ever grow up. All right, let me finish off the rest of my list here. South Carolina should go to 16 just for having a former quarterback that does that. South Carolina at 14. They kind of fluctuate for me. One week I'm like, yay, and then next one I'm like, ah. Auburn sits there, they'll stay there at 15. Mississippi State, they'll stay there at 16. Just, the bottoms. So I get it. Some of you, I know someone will say like, all right, your Vandy thing, you're on crack, you're disqualified. It is what it is. That being said, Cody Carpentier, to my defense, he only moved Vandy up like one spot in his rankings, and I think that was like from 14 to 13 for the win against Alabama, which I believe that's actually a little bit more egregious. Okay, so that being said, Prize Picks is coming up next, y'all. In the next 10, 12 minutes, we got the Prize Picks show. All the numbers are out already. I already put in some entries for Prize Picks for this upcoming weekend. I was able to get Quinn Ewers on the low. Boy, I was able to get him on a lot. I think they had him down like to 234. I'm like, oh, whoo, easy money. Prize Picks is coming up next. House Survivor will be here at noon. Steve Sarkisian addresses the media at 11. It's a jam-packed day, so nobody go anywhere. Remember what I always say, live each day like it's your last, because one day it will be. And I will see you guys in about 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere.